Digital Marketing Radio, episode 120. Is it still necessary to be creative to build a great website?
DigitalMarketingRadio.com.
Today's episode is brought to you by Aweber. Build your email list, engage your subscribers, do email the right way. I've arranged a special deal for all Digital Marketing Radio listeners, and that's a 60-day free trial with the email marketing software provider I use, Aweber. Lock in your 60-day free trial, plus download a free guide called Getting Started with Email at aweber.com/DMR. So just go to aweber.com/DMR to get started today.
The big interview with David Bain.
Today, Pleased to helps creative people transition into being successful creative freelancers with website makeovers, e-courses, and public speaking. He's also spoken at TEDx, and while there, took time to roll around the floor as a cat. Welcome to DMR, Jonathan Tilley.
Thank you for having me.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me. It's great to have you here. Well, you can find Jonathan over at jonathantilley.com. So, Jonathan, in a world where there are so many wonderful website templates, is it still necessary to be a creative to build a great website?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, what's wonderful is that we have, comparatively speaking, within the past five years, all these beautiful templates have come out. We have these wonderful opportunities to just plug and play, basically. But I still think that we need a little bit of a human eye and a bit of human creativity to sort of make that website, or make your website, more personalized and make it feel 100% like you. So definitely, we still need a bit of our own creativity to create a website that feels like you.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I remember years ago getting started in Dreamweaver and taking ages to actually design web pages. Obviously now it's so much easier to actually get your website up there. But I guess if your website looks like everyone else, then customers aren't going to find you distinctive. And,
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, what are a few of the things that perhaps someone could do to make their site more distinctive?
Yeah, sure thing. So I believe that there are 5 things that you can do to make you shine online, so to say.
Okay.
And those things are, number 1, to have a responsive website. I think 60%, and it's only 2015, 60% of all people that are using the internet are on their smartphones. So if your website is not responsive, then people are going to be, doing the pinch and the drag, and it's just not really user friendly. But the thing is that 7/8 out of all the websites that are on the internet are non-responsive. So
even after mobile getting.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, you have a website, great, but is it responsive? Not really, and I mean, we all know that feeling when you give a website 10 minutes to load, and if it doesn't load, you move on to something else, right? Yeah. So if your website isn't responsive,
you said 10 minutes there, didn't you?
Oh, 10 seconds. Sorry.
Yes, 10 seconds. Yeah.
Unless you're really patient,
Yeah, exactly.
10 seconds, then people are just going to move on and forget about you. And the second thing is that you need a logo. And it's so easy nowadays just to, go to Fiverr and ask somebody to do a logo for you that looks generic. But, if in the industry that you're in, if your logo isn't as instantly recognizable as the Apple logo, as the Whole Foods logo, as the Visa, MasterCard logo, that's what you're aiming for. Even if you're a small business, or even if you're a solo entrepreneur, your logo needs to really stand out and not look like it was created on Fiverr. It needs to look professional.
I mean, certainly with designing a logo, I mean, I used to live in Edinburgh, actually, and so did a guy called David Airy, and he was a really successful logo designer, and he's got tens of thousands of Twitter designers, and written a few books in logo design. And one of the things that he said was it's important to actually make a logo really, really simple. And it takes a lot of hard work to make a logo simple. Do you think that that's probably one of the biggest mistakes that people make with logo design, that actually try and complicate it too much?
100%. I think a lot of people try to make it more complicated than it is, or make it look flashy, when really it just needs to be really, really simple. The simpler it is, the better. And it just like like what's that quote? You know, it's design is all about good design is all about taking away instead of adding to it, which is sometimes the hardest thing to do. You know, just taking something away and still seeing if the eye can recognize it, or what the feel and energy is of that logo, and if it still represents that person or that company.
So should you generally give a designer completely the ability to actually design whatever they want, or should you actually go to them with initial concepts and a color palette to begin with?
I think it's a great question, because sometimes you get do whatever you want, and then you give it to the client and they go, that's not what I want. That's not what I was thinking, you know. So I think first and foremost, you have to have a definite communication, really be clear on what the client wants and what the client doesn't want. And if the client, the more that the client can give you in the sense of, I like this or I don't like that, then that gives the designer much more clarity. And then the designer can figure out, okay, this logo would maybe fit to this person instead of just creating anything, which is great, but you sort of need a bit of a structure to keep the focus instead of going off on a tangent.
And of course, the logo's got to look good on a small smartphone device, as it does on a big website as well, and that's challenging as well.
Exactly.
And another thing you point out actually in your 5 elements in your website is your about page. Now, a lot of people don't have an about page linked to, certainly from the top navigation section. Do you think it's important, first of all, to link to from that top section? And sorry, I'll let you answer that part first.
Keep going.
And if so, I was just going to say what actually should be the important elements of an about page.
I think, well, first and foremost, it depends on who you are and what you do, right? So if it's your first name, last name.com, you know, and it's pretty good to have it. I would say you should definitely have an about page or an about thing on your menu, on the top of your menu options, so that people can learn more about you. If you are a digital agency, then it might be more about us or about the agency. Or if it's a Fortune 500 company, then you might not want to have an about page about the CEO or whatever, you know. But I think it just depends on who you are and what you do. But I definitely think that the about page is something that a lot of people overlook. It's other than your landing page, it's the second most clicked on page of your website, if you have an about page, that is. And the majority of the people make it more about them instead of how they can help others. So, for example, if you are if you are offering your services and in your about page you go, me, I'm awesome, these are the clients I've worked for, you'd be stupid not to hire me, versus these are the types of people that I help, this is why I love helping them, and you might be one of them. Is it a match? You know, so it has a totally different feel to me, when it should be all about how you help other people.
That's lovely. I think I'll replay that bit myself. That's a lot of great advice there. It's so easy just to start writing and think, oh, I've just got to get this page written and up there. But if you're not saying the right things, if you're not touching the right points within someone's mentality, then what's the point in having the page up there?
Exactly.
And what about quantity of content? Should it be just a few hundred words? Should it be pictures? Should it be videos on there, or does it not really matter that much?
For the about page, do you mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Also, it depends on who you are and what you do and the people that you're helping. So, for example, there's a one of my friends, she's also a graphic designer and branding expert, Sarah Hart, and she's very flowery and bloomy and just, she's a ball of sunshine, and she's very girly, and the majority of her following are female entrepreneurs. So her about page is like this beautiful picture journey through the woods of, you know, are you one of my buddies, you know, sort of thing. It's really beautiful, and it fits to who she is. Right. Versus, you know, for example, I just did a website for a voiceover artist, you know, and the content of a voiceover artist is basically your demos, a few videos, a little bit about you, and then how to contact. So the content's much smaller, you know, and her about page was maybe, I'd say half of if it was printed on a normal piece of paper, it was maybe half the size of that piece of paper. And it was about, you know, about the clients that she's worked for, but why she's worked for those clients, and why her voice matched those clients, and why her voice could match the person that's reading this about page, and how her voice can help that client get the things that they need from the voiceover job that they may be offering her. So she made it all about the person reading the about page versus all about her and all the awesome clients that she has, and that's it. So I think it depends on who you are, what you do, and sometimes you don't need, you know, a lot of pictures and videos, and sometimes you just need a really clear half a page of some text, and that's it.
Got you, completely got you. So the style of content essentially depends on your personality and the personality of your prospective customers or clients.
Exactly.
Okay. And number 4 on your list is website security. So I suppose a lot of small business owners will publish a website or have someone else publish a website on their behalf and then forget about it. And that perhaps means maybe having a WordPress site that's just not updated at all. Is that one of your main concerns with regards to website security, or are there other areas as well?
That, and also, and I'm speaking from from personal experience, there's what I find fascinating and wonderful about the World Wide Web is that there are so many people that are wanting to do good and putting some great stuff up online. You know, so for example, the first book that I self-published, I put up online and bought the name of the book, the title.com at the end, and I bought that domain, and I didn't buy anything else. And then about 2 years later, somebody had completely copied word for word, picture for picture, my website, and tried to sell my book on another .com or .com.au or .net or whatever. So basically, it was an internet copycatter who stole my content and tried to sell my content. Thing is, though, what I find fascinating is that Taylor Swift in March of 2015 bought taylorswift.com, .co.uk, .com.au, .ie, .porn.adult, just to sort of solidify her name online and monopolize that if anybody put in her name, that it would all be redirected back to her website. This is a brilliant move because, I mean, what's really bad is somebody copycatting you. But if somebody in the adult film industry takes your name and then redirects it to an adult film industry website, your name is just completely ruined. So Taylor Swift was really smart in buying up every single web domain, TaylorSwift.fill in the blank, that it all got redirected to her. So she monopolized her name. So that's what I mean also by website security, that it's something that's very back office, not very front end, not very, you know, up on your browser, but there are some things in the back office that you need to do to make sure that nobody steals your name.
Okay, so brand security, I suppose, as well. Yeah,
totally.
And that kind of morphs into reputation management as well. And you see a lot of websites that or brands up there, and you search for the brand, and then perhaps the second, third, fourth result are really bad reviews about that brand. And of course, it's possible to control that, but websites don't do that, or big brands don't do that quite often.
Yeah, that's true.
And number 5 on your list is promo material, like business cards. So in this digital world, it's still necessary to have hard copy promotional material, you think?
I think so. I also have a couple other. I not only do branding and web design. I also have a voiceover career that I do on the side, and I've been doing that for about 15 years now. And honestly, the secret to my success of my voiceover career, and also I also do moderation too, so public speaking and emceeing events.
I heard your voiceover in your TED talk. Very impressive.
Oh yes, thank you so much. Thanks. and so I'll tell you right now, the secret to my success of booking all my jobs that I do are well, business cards are great because you can always hand them out, but the secret to my success is handwritten thank you notes.
Wow. Okay.
After a gig. So say that I completed a job on Friday. Monday morning, I'll take up my thank you card, which is like a postcard, right? Which has my logo on the front, and in the back it's just completely blank. And I'll just write literally 2 to 3 sentences. Thank you so much. It was a great time. And if there was like an insider joke, I'll include that in there too. Like, thank you so much. It was a great time. I hope you enjoy the carrots. I don't know, whatever. Take care and speak soon, Jonathan, right? And then you put the mailing address on it and put a stamp on it, and you mail it out. And I swear, everyone writes back and says, "Wow, thank you so much for the handwritten thank you note. I never thought of that. That's such a great idea." And it's something that you hold in your hand and you go, "Geez, this person took the time to actually write this out." How often do we receive something in the mail that isn't a bill or an invoice or isn't spam, that just says thank you? Now, there's a difference between writing a thank you email, which everybody can do, versus investing the time of, it's the same amount of time, but investing the thought into a handwritten thank you note, putting a stamp on it, which costs less than $1, and putting it in the mailbox. Just that act, especially in today, in this day and age where everything's so quick and digitalized, it's something that's completely different that used to be in, but now isn't. So I've just given everything away. The secret to my success is handwritten thank you notes after a job.
That's an incredible tip. And you're absolutely sure that it's because it's handwritten, not because it's hard copy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's so interesting because what you're saying ties in with quite a few people that I've talked to recently about focusing on quality on just a few individuals rather than actually trying to make hundreds and thousands of different contacts, but just not doing it quite so well.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, what you're suggesting could perhaps be replicated to a certain degree by some kind of automated system of delivering a hard copy note once someone's signed up and perhaps given their physical address and sent out. But that would be pre-printed, pre-written, and not that personal thought in relation to carrots or whatever you'd have to.
Exactly. I mean, I think in like nowadays, like I said before, we're so digitalized and so automated, and I too have autoresponders and newsletter, and I think it's important to have, most definitely, to get the ball rolling and to make a connection and to just be in contact today with one another across the world. It's fascinating what we can do now that we have technology.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes when it goes a little bit deeper, when there's been a more personalized contact that goes deeper than just an autoresponder or a newsletter or an e-course, send a card. Be like, hey, can I get your address? Can I get your mailing address? I'd like to send you a card. Or for example, going back to the thank you cards to my clients that I have, the top 50 clients that I have over the year, at the end of the year, I send them another handwritten thank you card with a little mug full of chocolate or full of like a little Christmas gift or an end of the year gift or whatever. And I just send it out and they go, "Oh, geez, that's amazing. The chocolate was gone within 5 minutes." Or my top 5 clients, where I just go, "Geez, I wouldn't be able to pay the rent without you." I'll send them a bottle of champagne, which costs like $20, and to send it in the mail with shipping is maybe $5 on top. So $25 compared to the tons of money that they gave me for doing the work that I did that year. It's the least that I can do. And they go, and they write back and they say, "You made Christmas or New Year's the best it could be with this amazing bottle of champagne." So it's the little things that are personalized in this digitalized world. And I think it's just finding the balance between the two.
Yeah, absolutely. You're spot on there. I think a lot of people also don't do it because that kind of activity is harder to measure than a digital activity.
Yeah.
But of course, just because you can't measure it doesn't mean that it doesn't have a massive positive potential impact in your future.
Exactly.
You just have to trust your gut instinct with regards to the value of doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's segue into the second section of our discussion. So that focuses on your thoughts on where digital marketing's been and where it's heading. So starting off with
Software I couldn't live without.
So what software do you currently use in your business that if someone took away from you, it would significantly impact your marketing success?
MailChimp.
Mm. That was a rather quick answer there.
Yeah. I mean, like I was saying before, with this digital world that we're living in, where we can get in touch with anybody at any time, email marketing is so important, you know, and I don't think it's definitely no longer what it used to be with, you know, 80-90% open rate, but it is still important to have. So I would say MailChimp, number one. Number two would be what am I using to post into my Facebook group? Procom. Can't remember. I always have a difficulty saying it. I can spell it, but I can't say it.
Okay, I'll do a search for that after. If I can.
Exactly. Which posts to my Facebook group. I've stopped doing Facebook page, because only about 7% of the people that liked my page actually got to see it. And I've transferred everything over to a Facebook group, which is just exploding within the past couple of months. And I like to post things live, but sometimes there are things that I go, you know what, I'd like to post this on this day, or I'd like to make sure that people get this on this day at this time. So I use Procron it's called. I use Procron to post those things that I just go, you know what, I know I'm going to be away on that day, and I really want to post on that day, so I'm gonna prepare some content in for the future with that.
So do you think that brands should start embracing Facebook groups rather than pages now?
It depends on what you do. So if you are a coach, then I would say switch from a page to a group, because you get more one-on-one, you get more back and forth. If you're a big brand like Coca-Cola, you're not going to be able to scale that. You're not going to be able to manage that. So I would say stick with a page. You know, so it depends on what business you have. Or for example, if you're a restaurant, this is genius from our new restaurant opened up downstairs from the apartment that I live in. And she's amazing. She's this amazing cook, and it's all about, you know, she's this big mama, awesome. She cooks amazingly, right? And she doesn't post the menu on Facebook, which is what a lot of restaurants do. She posts maybe one highlight of, you know, Thursday, we're going to be doing our famous burgers, you know. Interested, you know, and call to make a reservation. And she honestly, it's so hard to get a seat in a restaurant because of the way that she's marketing that's different from everybody else, you know. So, or she'll just say, you know, if the weather's going to be gorgeous, then the next day she'll post a picture of, you know, one of the other days that were sunny and everybody's sitting out on the terrace, and she says, you know, reserve your spot, you know, tomorrow's going to be gorgeous. I got this amazing new recipe that I'm going to try out. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I think you'll like it. Make a reservation, you know. So she has a really great way of keep making you feel like you're on the inside of on her VIP list, even though it's a Facebook page.
I think that Steve Jobs had something with Think Different.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, here's a slightly more challenging question. What piece of software don't you use, but you've heard good things about and you intend to try at some point in the near future?
Periscope.
Wow, you haven't tried it yet.
Okay, I'm on it, and I've been watching people. I've been watching people, but I haven't really used it yet. And I know I'm a little bit of a late bloomer on this. It's just been a really busy summer, but yeah, I'm really excited to dive into Periscope in the fall.
There's a lot of potential there. I mean, I've tried it a bit. I think it's important with a new opportunity like that not to just completely drop everything and move on to it, because obviously you've got existing systems and things that you shouldn't necessarily be dropping because you've tested them all before. But
exactly.
It's intriguing. Okay, well, I'll include all the links to different recommendations that you made there in the show notes at digitalmarketingradio.com. But moving on to,
I wish I would have.
So I'd like you to look back in the very first day that you're involved in trying to market a business online. What didn't you do so well? What do you wish that you would have done differently?
I wish I would have researched more before I launched something. I had a, or I wish I I also wouldn't have been so so naive. So for example, the very first digital thing that I ever had online, which is like everything what you shouldn't do, is I thought that, like, Runtastic, right? You listen to the music or it charts where you're going. I thought, I'm going to do something like Runtastic, but with music that I put together with all my music friends, and and give them some exposure. But I'm not going to give any free trial. If you want in, then you got to pay full price, And of course, nobody bought it because they couldn't test it out for free, So basically, I did everything that you're not supposed to do with this first digital product that I had. But hey, I learned so much. But the thing was, I was very, very naive, and I didn't really know the ins and outs of how things usually go. And I just thought, oh yeah, everybody's going to get into this. So I didn't research. Now I'm a huge researcher, and I test things out before investing a lot of money or investing a lot of time and energy into something. I test and I research and I make sure that things are going in the right direction. And I'm not afraid to adjust and change course on the 11th hour when I just say, this isn't working, but let's try this.
So by all means, feel like you can come up with something novel, but don't think you can reinvent the wheel by just trying a completely different business model that doesn't exist.
Totally.
Okay.
The this or that round.
So this is the quick response round, 10 quick questions. Just 2 rules here. Try not to think about the answer too much, and you're only allowed to say the word both on one occasion.
Oh.
Ready? Ready to go?
Yes.
Email or Twitter?
Email.
Audio or video?
Video.
Affiliate or display advertising?
Affiliate.
Facebook or Google+?
Facebook.
Online press releases or one-on-one relations?
Both.
Paid search or SEO?
Paid search.
Email contact form or telephone number?
Email contact form.
Website or app?
Website.
Social subscriber or email subscriber?
Email subscriber.
And local marketing or global marketing?
Local.
Most
If
people leave the both.
The second time, then it would be that last question.
But online press releases are still quite important to you.
For me, for the businesses that I run, maybe not so much for other people, but yeah.
Because that's quite interesting, because obviously we're talking before about the importance of quality, limited relationships rather than actually just going for the masses. So probably the majority of people now go for one relations over online press releases. So I was kind of expecting you to go for that, to be honest.
Yeah, it's. I think it depends on what the online press release is. So I'm totally shifting this entire year into, if it's not fun, then don't do it. Right. So
yeah.
So online press release is, when you say press, it's all like, oh geez, it has to be all official and formal and suit and tie and the reason why I said online press release is because I did an online press release for a quiz, like a those personality quizzes that you do online.
Sure.
So I created one that ties into an online course that you can learn more about and learn from me for this online course. And I just put it out there, and it just took off. It just went viral without me having to do anything. So then I said, oh, okay, this is apparently resonates with a lot of people. Let's try an online press release with this. And I did it, and it went even more viral. So it was like, okay, great. So on some things it works, on other things it doesn't. It's the other thing of, like, you can never tell, you can never publish something and think, okay, this is going to go viral or this isn't. It's always something that's like, okay, let's just try it and see how it goes.
So was that just using a service like prweb.com?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
The $10,000 question.
So if I was to give you $10,000 and you had to spend it over the next few days on a single thing to grow your business, what would you spend it on, and how would you measure success?
I'm really into, and I'm really starting to fine tune and get a lot of positive analytics from Facebook ads.
Okay. And where do you drive your traffic to?
to the fun quiz that I do, to online courses that I do, to free webinars that I do that I upsell to my online courses, to my web design company. Yeah.
So a lot of testing. Do you do Facebook retargeting as well, or is it mainly just fresh? Yeah.
Yeah. So the past couple of years I've been playing with it and just not investing too much money, you know, like $1 or $2 a day just to see, okay, how's this going? And then when something really takes off, then it's like, oh, okay, I learned that from that. So now with all the different things that I'm doing, I'm really investing a lot of time and energy and a little bit more money into really targeting my Facebook ads to astounding success. It's been really quite amazing to see how that's taken off.
Lovely. Okay, I love the test and learn approach as well. And
Totally.
My number one takeaway.
well, Jonathan, you've offered a lot of great advice in our conversation, but what's the number one takeaway? What's the single most important step that our listeners need to take away and implement in their own businesses?
Don't do it unless it's fun. And
I love that. Yeah.
This is a huge turnaround for me, a huge pivot point for me. I was doing everything like that you're supposed to do, you know, like article submission and you know, guest blog posting and all, and I tried all those different things out, and it became so tedious, and I was just so pissed off with everything, you know. And then I was just chatting with some friends, and they were just saying, you know, this doesn't seem like fun for you anymore. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm not having any fun. So they said, you know, why don't you try to do something that is fun, you know? I'm like, well, like what, you know? And then they said, I don't know, just test it out. And I tested, like I keep saying before, test. And I gave myself permission to play around. So I started to play around, and then I came across, you know, this fun quiz that I did. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll create a quiz. And then boom, that quiz went viral. It's like, geez, that was a lot of fun to do. I didn't even think that it was going to be anything really serious. And geez, that's been a huge push in the right direction. Okay, let me have a bit more fun with my Facebook group. Oh, wow, that really resonates with me, and I can help people more one-on-one. Excellent. Okay, what are the other fun things that I can do within the digital marketing realm that I actually enjoy? Free webinars. Love doing free webinars. That's even if I'm not upselling anything, just to have one-on-one Q&A with my tribe, you know. That's fun to me. Okay, do more of that. So everybody is individual, and everybody is different, and everybody can have fun in their own specific way. So I would just say, if it's not fun, don't do it. If it is fun, hey, that's the direction you should be going in.
Completely agree with you. I mean, I've done every form of digital marketing under the sun, just about. But I've retracted to focus on the areas that I find most fun, and I love podcasting, and that's something that I love to do. Now up to 120 episodes of Digital Marketing Radio now. So cool, absolutely. Hands up for anyone listening in audio. But I reckon that just about takes us to the end of our discussion today. So thank you so much for your time and your advice. What's the best way for our audience to find out more about you and what you do?
Oh, sure thing. To learn more about me, go to jonathantilley.com and check out my website, where I help creative people transition into successful creative freelancers and also entrepreneurs and small business owners at jonathantilley.com, with my website makeovers, my e-courses, and also public speaking.
Wonderful. And thank you, dear listener, for joining us as well. If you like what you heard, I really appreciate your feedback. Just go to digitalmarketingradio.com/iTunes and please leave an honest rating and review. It'd be absolutely fab to hear from you, of course. It would help the ratings and the rankings of the show in iTunes. And finally, I'm also hosting a brand new live show every Friday called This Week in Organic. So head over to thisweekinorganic.com to find out more about that. So that's all for now. Adios. And thank you, Jonathan. You're a great guest. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.